What's going on? Vincent Rapsardi, BigBlueUnbiased.com. Thank you to those who've liked, commented, and subscribed. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure to turn notifications on so every time I post, you get a notification. You can come join in on the conversation. There's a lot to talk about. The Giants are 0-5. They lost to the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. And, wow, what an interesting game, especially that missed call at the end. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Daniel Jones. We'll talk about Andrew Thomas. We'll talk about moving forward, what to expect from the New York Giants, especially with the schedule that they have over the next 6 weeks. So let's get into that. So let's start off with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, look, I'm kind of in the middle with Daniel Jones. I'm not 100% convinced he's a franchise quarterback, but at the same time, I'm not 100% convinced that he's not the franchise quarterback, right? A lot of people are kind of like picking sides, understandably so. Okay, Trevor Lawrence season, or Daniel Jones, just he's not getting help and it's not his fault. So I'm kind of in the middle. I understand both sides. You look at Daniel Jones on Sunday, played better, right? He was improved. He didn't play great, but he was better than he had been in previous weeks. Averaged 6.7 yards per attempt, which is okay, but you look at Pro Football Focus and the stat that they put out. 19 pressures on 35 dropbacks. They said that is an absurd amount that very few quarterbacks in the NFL could handle. And when you look at the Giants' offense in general, no Saquon Barkley. They don't have a true wide receiver one. Darius Slayton's a good wide receiver too. I think if he's your wide receiver two, that's a really good quality wide receiver too. 8 catches on 11 targets, 16.1 yards per reception on Sunday. Darius Slayton performed very well for the Giants on Sunday. Evan Ingram only caught 1 pass, but he ran the football a couple times, had a rushing touchdown, almost had a big play on the fake field goal that turned out not to be a fake field goal because of the penalty. So, but getting back to Jones, the offensive line, Giants' offensive line has been bad. Giants' offensive line has been bad. For a young quarterback in a new system, a new offensive system, that's a tough position to put a quarterback. And I think he's shown some potential in certain areas. I think he made some nice throws on Sunday, especially towards the sideline, some nice plays, scrambling. And we'll get some more advanced metrics as the week moves on. Final numbers again, 6.7 yards per attempt, nothing crazy, but it's an improved performance. And you look at the Giants' next 6 weeks. They play Washington twice, Philadelphia twice, and Cincinnati. You're talking about teams that all have 1 win each. So there's an opportunity for the Giants to build some momentum on offense moving forward. So we'll see. Let's talk about Andrew Thomas. This is a big topic. He allowed 9 pressures. 9 pressures, according to Pro Football Focus on Sunday. And a really bad sack that turned into a fumble of Daniel Jones and turned into a touchdown on the fumble. So I don't want it to sound as though I think he's a bust. But the facts are that he's been bad. And it's not just pressures, it's pass block win rate, which at one point he was 149th out of 167 qualifying offensive linemen in that category. So a lot of people bring up the Nate Solder conversation because I talked a lot about Nate Solder during the offseason, and I said, look, Nate Solder had proven over the course of his career that he's an average, just slightly above average left tackle. That's what he's been for most of his career. And you look at his pass block win rate last year, and it was the same as Tyron Smith and Jason Peters. So he fared quite well in the pass block win rate category. So I was like, okay, maybe he was just getting unlucky because Daniel Jones was holding onto the football a lot. But with Andrew Thomas, his pass block win rate is bad, and he's giving up a ton of pressures. He's just not playing well. You really can't chalk it up to being unlucky because his pass block win rate is not good enough. So Andrew Thomas is struggling. This is why I talked about after he got drafted, and I keep bringing this up because I have to bring it up. I said, look, your expectations for him are ridiculous. People are expecting day one he's going to be so much better than Nate Solder. He's going to be an all-pro, all-famer, day one, franchise left tackle. I said, relax. You're putting too much on the kid, okay? I understand he's a 4th overall pick. That's a lot of pressure, though. That's a lot of pressure. And I said if he struggles early with all the pressure, with the position that he plays, left tackle being a very important position with a lot of people watching, it could hurt his confidence. It could ruin him. So just relax on the expectations. And that's why I would have started him at right tackle to begin with, because now he's struggling at left tackle, and again, you don't want to ruin his confidence. So we'll see moving forward. It's a tough position to put the guy in, right? No preseason games as a rookie. Tough position to put him in at left tackle. And a lot of people say, well, who cares? Just let Andrew Thomas play left tackle. Even if he struggles, he gets experience. Well, Daniel Jones probably cares, right? If Andrew Thomas is struggling as badly as he's struggling, you know, that's probably going to impact Daniel Jones, and as a result, that could impact Daniel Jones' future with the Giants. So I'm just saying. Okay, so let's talk about the Giants' defense. Lorenzo Carter, Achilles injury, looks like he's going to be out for the season. That's a big loss for the Giants and just a big-time injury. Unfortunate injury for Lorenzo Carter. He was really starting to take the next step. So bad news for Lorenzo Carter. Bad news for the Giants. Oshane Ximines, he's on IR. So right now it's up to Marcus Golden and Kyler Fackrell, the veteran edge rushers for the Giants moving forward. Fackrell had a pick six, and after that pick six, I tweeted out, I'm like, this might be a real Giants defense. This might be a really good group. But Andy Dalton stepped in and averaged 10 yards per attempt, and I'm like, okay, maybe we'll pull back on the real defense. Maybe they're just an average defense at this point. Okay, we'll just say they're an average defense. Because when Andy Dalton comes in, he's averaging 10 yards per attempt off the bench. That's not a good sign. And I talked about this in my pregame video. I said I would watch out for CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. Those are big play receivers, and they made big plays. They both averaged over 15 yards per reception, and they made big plays. They made big plays. That's what they did. That's what they do. I told you I was less worried about, if I were the Giants, I would be less worried about Amari Cooper, and I'd be more worried about Gallup and Lamb because those are game-changing kind of players. They make a big play. Cooper this year really hasn't been that kind of guy in terms of making big plays. He's been averaging around 10 or 11 yards per reception. Gallup and Lamb are more of, they're home run hitters, right? They're big play guys. So, and that's kind of what they did. Now, you look at James Bradberry. Against Amari Cooper, he allowed 1 catch, 8 yards. James Bradberry has been one of the best corners in the league this year. One of the best. You look in completion percentage over expectation. I tweeted it out before Sunday's game sometime last week. This guy is a really, really good player. Okay, so I'll finish up with this. 40 seconds left in the game, and it looked like it was a clear hold on B.J. Hill. And it wasn't called, right? It wasn't called. It turned into a 19-yard play downfield. Dallas got to the 46-yard line, their own 46-yard line, and really put them in a good spot to win the football game. And Terry McAuley, a veteran NFL referee, put out on Twitter. You can go to my Twitter account if you want and check it out. He put it out on Twitter that it was a missed call. It should have been called. It should have been a holding call. And that's a huge penalty. That's a game-changing play. And it was weird because you watched the game. You didn't even need a replay. You watched it and you were like, that's a hold. That's a hold. How do you miss that? How do you miss that call? It was obvious. I don't know. I don't know how you miss a call in that spot, too. I mean, that's a huge play, 19 yards down the field. I mean, that's a huge call if it's made. I mean, they're going to be backed up in a tough spot. Game-changing call. So moving forward, the Giants, like I had stated, they have Philadelphia twice, they have Washington twice, and they have Cincinnati over their next 6 games, right? 5 of their next 6 games are against teams with only 1 win, with 1 win each. So, improved offensive performance for the Giants versus Dallas. They have an opportunity, at least. An opportunity. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but an opportunity to continue to improve.